Hi, I'm Cheech Marin, and I'm on the Dana Cortez show. So watch it, listen to it, be it.
So proud, so excited to be here with the legendary Cheech Marin at the Cheech Marin Center for Chicano Art and Culture, celebrating year two, baby. Year two. Does it? How do you feel? It's the second year. I mean,
I'm worn out. I'm worn out, man. They got me traveling everywhere, I've been traveling lately, a lot of places, and I'm getting ready to do a couple movies. So I'm hiding right now. This is my little hiding period.
Right.
I'm going out to our house in Joshua Tree and not pick up the phone for as long as I can. No, but it's nice. I've been working real hard with this. The museum work. The museum world grinds very slowly and then very fast.
Right.
So you don't know which.
It's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah, exactly. So and they kind of look at you for a long time before they commit, and so we're in that past that looking at you for a long time period.
We walked in and I saw the name of the exhibit, Shifting Perspectives. This might be a very serious question, but why, Mr. Marin, is it hard to convey the value of Chicano art, our contributions to U.S. history? Why is it having to shift perspectives in today's day and age?
Well, because I think essential to the Chicano ethic is a shifting perspective, because they are influenced by everything that comes into their path.
Right.
And they incorporate it into whatever art they're making and whatever art history they come from, and it's that continuous churn of new and old at the same time, and welcoming everything that's new and revering everything that's old.
Oh, that's such a great way of putting it. Yeah. And that's what our culture does.
That does.
It really does. Yeah. So I have to ask you this, because as a Mexican American, myself, did your parents support you going into the art world? Because,
what's the origins? How did you get into all this stuff?
Hey, Mom and Dad, I'm going to make a living telling jokes, singing, acting. Did they support that?
They just like, hey, cállate, por favor. Clean up your room.
Yeah.
No, they supported anything I wanted to do. My dad wanted to be a lawyer, and I tried that for a minute, and I think I'm more interested in breaking the law than enforcing it here. And so I was very fortunate. I had this group of cousins, and they were all really bright kids. And we all went to Catholic school, liberal arts education. But the head cousin, Louis, decided that he was going to assign us topics, like AP classes.
Okay.
And we were young at this point. And I think I was 10, maybe 9, 10.
Oh, wow.
And he assigned me art. Okay, Cheech, go out and learn all about art and bring it back to the group, and we'll all know about art. Okay, so how do you do that? You go to the library, and every Saturday to go to the library and take out all the books and look through them, look at the pictures. Oh, that's Cézanne. Is that how you pronounce it? Okay, that's cool. I like him. But so after a while, the people that worked at the library got onto what I was doing. And so they started bringing me books every Saturday, coming here. Well, you should learn about Impressionism this week. Okay. And so after a while, after about a year, I kind of was very educated in Western art. And so
at age 10?
At age 10, yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you have any 8-year-old or 10-year-old brothers and sisters. You know what little squirts they are.
Yeah, of course.
No, but I was going into the library, but they encouraged me to go to museums to see paintings live. And so I started that.
To witness that and feel the art.
Because paintings you have to see live. You have to see in person.
That made me think about the first piece of art I ever made, which was a Christmas ornament for my mother. It does not deserve to be in here, bro, at all.
Well, we'll see.
Your mother would think differently.
You could have been ahead of your time.
Can you recall maybe during that time as a young kid, or what the first piece of art that you kind of made by yourself?
I was terrible in art. I was in the first grade. I went to Trinity Street School, and it was in South Central. And for the class field trip, we went to the Grand Central Market, which was at the end of our block. Don't we get to go on a bus? No, you get to walk. Sit there, you can see it from here. And so we go in there, and inside the Grand Central Market was everything that ever grew on Earth. I mean, everything. It's like as a little kid, you go in there. And so we got back to class, and the teacher said, "Okay, I want everybody to draw the image of the thing that impressed them most, you know." And I saw these banana squashes, and they were bigger than I was. I was always a little kid, bigger than I was. I said, "How can I draw those?" And they passed out the good paper and the good crayons and everything. Yeah. And I put these big banana squashes and a little stick figure me, you know. I was so proud of that. And the teacher was coming around and seeing everybody's work. "Oh, you used all the colors in the thing. Oh, that's good." And it came to mind. She picked it up because, "Well, you'll never be an artist."
Oh, no! That had to crush you.
What grade was that?
That had to be in second grade.
Wow.
Second grade. Maybe.
Teachers can have a positive and a negative influence on you.
I think it was a substitute teacher.
That's right.
Yes, because they didn't care. They didn't want to get out of here.
God.
How did you get into the comedy and acting and all that?
I've come from a very funny family.
Okay.
Everybody in our family was very funny and very quick-witted. And so if you wanted any time at the dinner table, man, you had to have a tight 5 minutes, man, to go in there. You know, it's like to get in because they were all real bright and real funny. Right. So I grew up that way, and so I was always, you know, it was got me out of a lot of trouble and got me into a lot of interesting situations. You know, because I noticed right away the girls like.
They like funny.
You know, they like funny. Yeah. So.
If you can make a woman laugh, you can date her.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a true story.
And as you get older, other stuff too. And so, you know, that sense of humor always. So that was a thing that I could do easily. I didn't have to think about it. Didn't have to study for it. It was just a part of our natural upbringing, you know.
How did you hook up with Chong to do Cheech and Chong then?
Chong, I met him in Vancouver, in Canada. I was living in Canada. I was there for about 3 years. And eventually I made my way to Vancouver. And I was doing delivering carpets or something, I think. And I was working for this magazine called Poppin', and it was a pop rock and roll magazine. Yeah. And I was writing because I was a writer all during school.
Okay.
And so, and he had me writing, you know, interviews and reviews of records and stuff. And he says, "But I got a friend, and he's doing this weird thing. I don't know, it's some kind of theater thing in Chinatown, and it's topless." Okay,
You're
right
topless.
away.
You got me a topless.
I'm interested. Oh, really? Topless. Interesting. Yeah. You know, so I went down there, and Tommy had started this improv theater, but in a topless bar that his parents owned. And so he incorporated that element. So it was now a topless
improv theater.
Improv theater.
I would have gone to that.
Yes, kaboom, I was there. And so I sold him on this idea that I was this great improv writer.
Yeah.
You know? And so, okay.
That is insane.
I mean, this really happened. And he goes, and so he says, okay. So he was impressed. And so I came and I started writing for the group, and then I started performing them with him. And then the group fell apart, and we stayed together. We had all this material and these characters that we were doing. And we were both musicians. He was a guitar player, and I was a singer. So he says, well, let's put together a band, and then we'll do skits and stuff like that. Maybe we'll play lounges in Vegas or something. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Great. So we started putting this thing together, and we put together a band to kind of back us up. We went to our first gig, which was a Battle of the Bands at the Gardens Auditorium in Vancouver. Wow. And we won the Battle of the Bands without playing a note.
Oh, my gosh.
We had the band up there, and they're ready to play. But we started doing some bits, and that was it, man. And we won the thing. So 2 days later, we took off to L.A. to try to make it in L.A., you know. So.
Did you understand at the time the magnitude of what you were doing, especially as a Chicano? Did you understand how, I told you my tios, you know, we talked on the phone, we had an interview prior to this. My tios loved you. They revered you. My mother.
I told my mom that I was coming to Riverside to interview, and she was like, "Oh my God." And she's like, "I still have his albums."
Yeah. But did you understand what you were doing and what we just didn't see ourselves in film? We didn't see ourselves in comedy, we didn't see ourselves at all.
Yeah.
Did you understand at that time the impact you were having on an entire culture?
Oh yeah, right away.
Oh, I love
because
that.
It was such a void that
Yes.
of course they're gonna realize
There's still a void today.
even we realized the strength of the material and what we were saying. Even when we were in Vancouver, we had no Chicanos there.
Yeah.
We started doing those two guys in the car, and everybody in the audience became Chicano for a minute. And then when we came to the U.S., then that's when it really the full force of it came about, and so it was.
Did somebody discover you guys on stage in L.A. and then take it to?
Yeah, Lou Adler, this guy Lou Adler.
I'm familiar with the name. Yeah.
He was the biggest record producer in the world at the time. He was just about to release Tapestry by Carole King when we joined.
Wow.
And there was only 4 artists on the label, and so but he had grown up in East L.A.
He recognized the culture right away.
Right away, he had recognized what we were doing, and Boyle Heights is from Boyle Heights, and so he signed us up to do. We don't know. We got to figure it out how to convert what we were doing on stage to records. Now they had to sound funny. They couldn't look funny.
Yeah.
So we started that process. And
how did that process go?
It was we first tried to do a live recording in the album, because all our contemporaries, Lily Tomlin, George Carlin, Red Fox, Richard Pryor, all their records were their live act recorded. Yeah. And so, but we went in the studio and created these little scenarios, which was perfect for the baby boomers who were just coming into CDs and hi-fi and all that. And so they were with their earphones, they were listening very carefully to all the records. So we put a lot of layers of different stuff in it, so you could listen to them over and over again and find something new in there. So not only was the material new, the way we were presenting it
was different than what other comedians at the time were doing. Now, you're back on TikTok.
Yeah.
You're there. Where did that come about? And also Call of Duty, the resurgence in the interest in Cheech and Chong. Where is this coming from?
Everybody loves weed, Dana.
The same place that the checks were coming from. I don't know, man. We got this call from out of Call of Duty, out of the Lord. Okay, I've never played a video game in my life. And so now we're in Call of Duty. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, God, this is perfect.
A whole new generation of this.
It's amazing, It's like, because we've successfully strung together 4 generations of followers. 4 generations. And so people know us from different parts of our legendary career. Some people only know us from records.
That's true.
Some people only know us from movies. Some people only know us from cartoons.
And now some people will only know you from TikTok and Call of Duty.
Yeah, and now art.
And now art.
That,
take that.
Now I'm at the point where people know me at least as much for art as for
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Your love of art, when did you start collecting?
As soon as I had some money.
Okay.
You probably sold a couple records. I know you sold some records.
Yeah, we did sold records. That's when I started to collect. I was always a collector of something all my life.
Okay.
Whether it was marbles or baseball cards or bottle caps or all things you could collect as a kid. But I always had a ability to do that, and an interest in it. So when it came to collecting art, okay, I can collect the whole set because I traveled.
Yeah.
That was the key. I traveled. As I was in a different city every day. And so I would, maybe this city has what I'm looking for. So I'd take out the yellow pages and look up antiques or whatever.
We will decipher yellow pages another time. Go ahead.
Wow. Yeah, yellow pages but you have to read to do that.
You have to be able to read.
Who was the first artist that you bought a piece from?
I bought 3 at the same time. One by George Yepes, one by Carlos Almaraz, and one by Frank Romero.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
Frank
it
Romero.
wasn't that piece, but...
Yeah, but very, very
Where were you at
artist.
when you bought him?
In L.A., yeah.
Okay.
I think I bought it from Robert Berman Gallery. He was
Are you familiar with Andres Valencia?
No.
He's an 11-year-old Mexican-American artist.
Really?
He's absolutely incredible. We've been following him for a while. I would love to
to meet him. Yeah.
He's absolutely incredible.
Cheech, I do have a 2-part question for you. What is the definition of Chicano to you as a New Mexican Chicano from the state of New Mexico? I've come to find out that a lot of, even within our own community, we have different definitions of the word.
It depends on which Chicano you ask, because there is, everybody has their own definition of it,
Well, what does it mean to you?
To me, it means, at first it was a Mexican American with a defiant political attitude. And for me, because I grew up when I came to find out what but the real definition came from my Uncle Rudy, who was, like my father, a policeman. He was LAPD, and my Uncle Rudy came to be the highest-ranking Chicano in the force. He was captain of Hollenbeck. He was on the state parole board. The Hollenbeck Station is now named after him, the Rudy de Leon Station. Anyways, I came home, and the family was, and Uncle Rudy and his family were there, and they were having dinner, and he was telling the story about getting his car fixed. And he says, I went down to take in my car, and the guy wanted $200 to fix it. And I said, give me a piece of tin foil and a pair of pliers. I'm a Chicano mechanic. I can fix it for $200. I said, that's it. That's a Chicano.
That's a Chicano.
That's what, I want to be that. Because I was always...
Make it happen.
I was always called Mexican because I grew up in a black neighborhood,
Okay.
So, yo, Mexican. And so I'm not a Mexican. I've never been to Mexico. I can't speak Spanish. So how am I a Mexican? How are you an African American? Ever been to Africa? No. And so I go, so it meant something else to me. But that can-do spirit is meant incorporation of whatever is in your path, plus the reverence of our past.
Yeah,
we're going to make it happen no matter what, and be proud of where I come from.
Exactly.
And to the point of the hyphen, I think it was Ruben Salazar who said the hyphen strips us of both identities.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Now, I need you to help me debunk some Chicano urban myths, if you may. Now, I'm from New Mexico, where it's the home of Española. And if you ask all my friends over there, Lowrider culture started there.
That's what I hear, too.
So, from your perspective, Cheech, do you think lowrider culture started in Española, New Mexico, or is there an origin city specifically?
I don't think there was an origin city specifically for that, because lowriding came out of horseback riding. That's what it is, because on Sundays, all the young vatos would get on their horses and they parade very slowly around the town square so all the girls could see them. And they come
Makes
back.
sense, yeah.
And so it was not being in a fast race. Hey, no, they're cruising around on their horses, making them do their various steps. And that's where it came. And so the concept of low and slow came out of that. It came out of horses.
It transitioned to the car culture.
Exactly. And so how do you
not know
do
that?
No, that's exactly where it came from. So because the other car cultures were all how to make them go fast.
The Chicano culture was low and slow.
Low and slow.
And it still is to this day.
And it still is. It presents an attitude.
You said something that sparked something for me. You said your dad was a cop.
Yeah.
How did he feel about you doing all the weed stuff?
Oh,
back in the 70s.
Oh, yeah, he loved it. Because, not particularly he didn't care about the topic. It was because it inured him to the other juvenile delinquents in his...
That's my son!
Yeah, exactly.
That's my son!
That's what he said, man. You ever heard of Cheech and Chong? Yeah, well, that's my son. Here, come here, talk to me. Here, want some free records? And so what's going on in here?
He was your biggest promoter.
Yeah, but it was, hey, what's going on here?
I thought you would have gotten pushback because, like, my abuelita, my mother, I have marihuanos,
Yeah.
But for you, they embraced the culture.
Oh, yeah, because they could see the humor in it. And the cops could see the humor in it, too, because they were dealing with everything that we were dealing with, but on a funny basis, so we could see the humor. So cops loved us.
And now that people are educated on marijuana, nobody's ever died from marijuana. It's the
Unless
least...
a ton of it falls on you.
Yeah, exactly. It
can only be that lucky.
And I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker, but I am very much a proponent I support the legalization of marijuana. Do you think it will ever be legalized federally?
It's on its way. I mean, it's on. We just got to descheduleize from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3.
Yes, that just happened. Yes.
And it'll keep happening. It's de facto legal right now everywhere you go. I mean, you can smoke anywhere you want.
Pretty much, yeah.
And but the law of it, but it'll change the industry once it is legal, because now you can grow in one place and sell it in another place.
Right.
That's the big no-no right now.
Why is there a fight to legalize it? What do you think is behind that?
To stop legalization?
Yes. Why don't certain people support the legalization?
It's mostly religious.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
But they'll take a shot like before they go to church. I don't understand.
There's like all kinds of religions out there, man. Why is Texas the biggest state of any smokers that I know? All the biggest smokers that I know.
But it's illegal there.
But it's illegal there. It's illegal there.
Exactly.
How can that be true? How can those two things be true at the same time?
Because when you said that, I was like, yeah, you probably get away with smoking in Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, but some of those small towns still, they'll put you in jail. In Texas, in the
but
South.
they got as many smokers in the
I know they do.
I'm not kidding you, man. We played every single town in Texas that you could play, and there are always fans there. They're like. Maybe their grandmother or their great-grandmother or their father or their preacher father or whatever it is. But that's pretty, set in tech. But
it's going to change no matter what.
It has changed. It's just the recognition of it legally has not changed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian and a radio personality, as we're here, and I've come to find out that cannabis oftentimes is the best business card that I can have.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is. And for yourself, has there been any situations where maybe cannabis or sharing a joint with somebody has got you a meeting or met somebody that you didn't foresee happening?
Oh, yeah. No, because they want to meet me, not because I want to meet them.
I'm still not cooler than the weed, but you are, yes.
Yeah.
He's like, there's levels here. There's levels here.
I mean, we had Bill Gates come to the museum
Wow.
a little while ago.
Did he smoke with you?
Not yet, but
Okay.
But I saw it in his eyes. But I was.
It's a life goal for a lot of us.
Yeah, well, that cost some money. That was my celebrity gift, man. No, but I had it in front of this one painting. It's not up right now, but I said the biggest aspect about this painting that makes it really different from all this, it's just painted on velvet. And it was a Picasso kind of tribute. And I'm telling the story about this, and it says, and it's painted on velvet, and he reaches out like I would do to wants to feel that velvet. And he gets real close, and he turns and looks at me, and I go, you can afford it. You're Bill Gates.
I mean, you can afford to buy it.
Yeah, man.
You buy it.
That's the decision Bill Gates makes.
Only velvet paintings I've ever seen are the ones with the dogs playing poker. Oh. You know what I'm talking about? You've seen those?
Yeah, I remember those.
That's the only ones I've ever seen.
But everybody has the thing you always hear is like, well, I didn't know if I like Chicano art or not, but I like this.
Yes.
Yeah, because they hadn't seen it yet. Yeah. You have to see Chicano art in order
You're
to
educating the masses to the beauty of our culture and the talent that for so long we've known, but the rest of the world doesn't understand. John Leguizamo has a stand-up called Latino Education for, is it Dummies? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, and he talks about our art being called folk art and everybody else being called fine art.
Yeah.
This is fine art. This is beautiful.
But at the beginning, the Chicanos, especially in L.A., were saying you don't make fine art, you make agitprop folk art. And so every artist that I told that to, they said, what's agitprop folk art that we make? I don't know what that is, And so it was, no. We're introducing a new art, a new interpretation of how things are done. And we're just going to keep making it, and eventually you'll see it. Because it's not going to go away. No. So that was the attitude. Because there's been many rises and falls of Chicano art and the popularity, and then go away for a little while, and then it comes back, and a new generation of artists brings, and it keeps going like that. And we're in our fourth generation now, so it's not. It is not this exotic agitprop folk art anymore.
As it once was.
As it once was perceived.
Right, as it once was perceived, exactly. So when you were approached by the city of Riverside to do this, did you understand the magnitude, the beauty that, I'm going to be honest, walking into this gallery, it's one of the most beautiful galleries I've ever been to. Did you know what they wanted to do, or were you kind of like,
I had no idea. Really, I had no idea what they were asking. Like, do you want me to build a museum? I'm doing okay. I don't know if I'm museum rich at this point, but no, we want to give you the museum for the collection. You give us a collection, we'll give you the museum. It'll be there. We'll take care of it. And I still didn't understand
Right.
what it was. And so I was looking for a sign. Really, I was looking for a sign because I had to give them the collection. And it's not like you loan it to them for a weekend. You give it to them. Now it's their
this is a scary
It's
endeavor. This is a
it's their
scary endeavor.
And it's like, and so I was looking for a sign to, like, I should do this. And I was walking through the building. We were gutting it because it was a library. And I said, how big is this building? He goes, 66,420 square feet. And I go, 420. That's the sign. Okay. And I swear to God, that's what
Makes complete sense to me.
That's it. Okay.
Full circle moment.
Literally. It's a sign. Okay.
Literally.
All right, let's do this. See what happens.
Oh my gosh.
I swear. And go look in the thing. This is 420 square feet.
That's wild. Okay. Speaking of 420, who are some of the most famous people you've smoked with? Who have you smoked with? Willie Nelson?
Oh, a zillion times.
I didn't know.
Every time I play golf with him, he gives me a big bag of willy weed.
Willy weed.
This is really good for golf.
Is it? I was going to say, is it good weed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good golf
It's
weed.
probably got to be the best. Come on. Snoop Dogg. Have you smoked with Snoop?
Oh, yeah, a lot of times.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. What about Matthew McConaughey?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking.
All right. Is there anybody who's kind of surprised you with like I'm pretty sure you've had plenty of people tap out of your sessions before.
Oh, no.
Has there been somebody who's like, whoa, this guy can really partake and really...
No. I don't think so, because we're not like, hey, I want to smoke a ton of weed. I mean, I smoke one hit and I got so much in my body already, man. It's just like an igniter, kind of like.
It just keeps the flow going.
Hey, wake up, we're here. I'll tell you, one of my favorite guys to get high with was Timothy Leary.
Oh my gosh.
He was a really good buddy of ours. We spent a lot of time with him. And he was just the most incredible person you could meet. He was this psychedelic Irish rabble rouser, pub rabble rouser. But he was a guy that wrote 26 books and was in 26 prisons around the world. I don't know anybody with that
resume, that kind of resume.
Yeah.
Wow. That's an endearing story. It seems like you felt a lot of love for this person.
Oh, he was great. I mean, to me, he was the funniest guy and most welcoming and arms open, and he was reviled by the society because he was dealing in LSD.
Right.
But he was a Harvard professor. It was like it wasn't like he just woke up in a homeless shelter
just do
one
this.
day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you see for the museum in the next 10 years? What do you want for people to experience here, and how do you see it growing even more than what it's become now?
Because there's going to be more artists entering the arena, and it already happens. Some of the big artists that are in here right now, the first art book they ever saw in their life was Chicano Visions. It was the catalog for the first big tour I ever did. And that was their first primer when they were little kids, So I expect that to keep happening because we're going to get more and more artists, of generations. What you see up right now is like kind of the early stages of Chicano art.
It's so beautiful. I encourage people to come visit. We walked around downtown. We walked in here. This is a destination.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been to Riverside before.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Riverside in the 1880s, like end of the 1880s, I think in 1890, was the richest per capita city in the United States.
Oh,
Did not know that.
Because of citrus.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
All the
Because
farms
they
that are
grew
around here,
everything, lemons, oranges, limes, grapefruits, tangelos, and then they built a railroad into the groves, and then they shipped it all over the world. So that's how you could get an orange on Christmas morning in London, England, because of Riverside, California. It came from here. Small population, but a lot of money coming in. So all these buildings on Mission
That's why they have all
Boulevard,
these beautiful buildings.
They have all these beautiful buildings.
Built on the backs of a lot of Mexican Americans.
Lots of Mexican. There was a law here that I can't remember what street. A couple of the streets that you had to have 3 rows of orange trees before the street, in between the street and the houses. That was a requirement.
That's where the money came from.
That's exactly.
I do have another Chicano myth that may need some debunking right now. Now we're here talking about this. One of my homies, I don't know the origins of where this took place, but he said a lot of the fashion came from those who were doing the farm work, right? So for the button-up flannels, button up one time. He said a lot of the farm workers at that time would go out there. It was too hot to wear
Cover
the
up,
flannel
protect
open.
themselves from the sun.
So then, in order to protect themselves from the pesticides, they would button up one top and then let the flannel hang.
Could be.
And then it was their children that kind of used that as a fashion statement.
It could be, yeah. I mean, you make fashion out of what you have.
There it is.
Like, yeah, exactly. I mean, just the way the name Chicano came about, and everybody has a different interpretation of what that is. But from my perspective, it was. They were not the Mexicans that had crossed the border and were now living in the United States were, to the Mexicans, not considered no longer. They're truly Mexicanos because they had left their country and they were living in a different country. They were something less. They were something smaller. They were chicos, little Chicanos.
And that's where Chicano
not
came
Mexicano,
from.
and that's where it came from. Because Mexicans have a great affinity for wordplay in their humor, but that's the only one that ever makes sense. I've heard a lot of explanations of it.
And so we took that word and empowered ourselves with the word.
Exactly. Now it was because my Uncle Rudy is where I first heard that word Chicano. I'm a Chicano mechanic. Oh,
you're like, I want to be that.
I want to be that. That really describes me. More than Mexican or Mexican. I hate hyphenated. Right there, I hate hyphenated. So. I'm a Mexican or I'm an American. Which am I?
You're Chicano.
I'm a Chicano. It's its own category. We have our own museum. So,
Cheech, Marin, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I will tell you, walking in, I felt emotional, and I still feel emotional. I'm very proud. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having us and doing this and
pleasure.
Educating everyone on how Chicanos are just like everybody else.
Except more so.